Hello and welcome to Working with What You Got. I'm your host, Renee Joshua Porter, and I am so glad that you decided to join us today. Remember, our program is all about you realizing that you have more than you think you have. You have more time, you have more talent, you have more faith, you have more resources, you have more creativity, you have more money, more food, and you have more people on your side. And it is time to unknot your mind. Well, we're going to start our show like we do every week, and we are going to cook. Well, the holidays are coming up, and holidays means festivities, it means appetizers, it means calories, it means cocktails, all of those things. And I started to think, one, I don't do cocktails because I don't drink. Two, I can't do calories because I'm always trying to lose weight. So why not come up with a low-calorie mocktail? Haha, are you ready? I decided to create my version of a Jell-O shot. So many times when you get together with family and friends, they always have Jell-O shots. And for those of us who don't drink, we sit there, we just kind of act like we're sipping our ginger ale while they just do their Jell-O shots. So I said, I plan to host festivities and I want people to feel comfortable among us. Why don't I create a mock Jell-O shot? So instead of using Jell-O, I decided to use agar. Do you remember when I talked about agar before? Agar is actually a seaweed, and it's just straight from the sea, and it's ground up really fine, and it makes liquid become gelatinous. So if you put agar in liquid, it will make it into a Jell-O, and it takes on the flavoring of whatever you put in it. So if you put in peaches, you put in apples, you put in lemon, whatever you do, agar, and it's calorie-free, and no sugar, it makes it into a Jell-O substance. So I started thinking, when you have a cocktail, most of the time you like that rum spice taste. How do you create that if you don't have alcohol? So I thunk and I thunk and I thunk. And I'll tell you what I did. I started off with agar. And this is how it started to look. Now to make the agar, what you do is you get a teaspoon. Let's do another teaspoon. Believe it or not, it's very deceiving because the longer you let it sit, the firmer it makes your liquid. And then you're going to get some very hot water and you're going to pour it into the agar and dissolve it. So 2 teaspoons of agar and then just enough water to dissolve it. That's your base. Let me tell you something. This base can be used for anything. Not only can you use it as a Jell-O, you could take this base, put in coconut milk, cashew milk, soy milk if you're into soy, and then your flavors, and guess what? It now, if you put a little bit more liquid to it, it can become a lovely custard or pudding. I'm telling you, agar is the bomb.com. So I took my agar, dissolved it with water, and now I'm trying to create my rum spice flavor. So what do? I put in some allspice, put in a little cap of vanilla. Let's put in 2 caps. Put in cloves. And clove is very strong. So I would say I would start off with maybe a 1/4 teaspoon of clove because clove can really dominate your flavoring. And then I put in another 1/4 teaspoon of fennel. This is my spice concoction. Vanilla, fennel, clove, allspice. Now, guess what? It has no sweetener. You know you need your kick, you need your sweetener. So I decided to use a dark honey. If you have stevia, if you have maple syrup, it's totally up to you. I had dark honey. That's what I used. This is the basis for your Jell-O shot and your mocktail. Now let me just taste to see whether or not that bad boy is strong. This is what it looks like. Agar, hot water, fennel, clove, allspice, vanilla. It's going to give your spice rum taste. Put it in your little shot glass, refrigerate, and here you go. I don't know who we're going to get to taste. Vicky's shaking her head. She said, no, I cannot taste. She said, I can't do Jell-O. Okay, so I'm going to have to call Milani. Can I get Tom? Tom, he's on the camera. I can't get him. Come on, Milani. Milani doesn't know how to judge it by. Milani, have you had a Jell-O shot?
No, I haven't.
All right. So just let you know, it has a strong flavor. Milani doesn't like strong flavors too much. Just imagine that it's the substitute for a Jell-O shot.
I'll keep that in mind. Interesting.
Is it strong?
Yeah, it's strong, but it's not too strong. Mm-hmm. If it was a little gooier, maybe then it would be.
You want it to be gooier?
Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to be like Jell-O.
Right. Okay, so you know what happened? It hadn't set long enough.
Yeah, but the flavor's good.
The flavor's okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I taste the cinnamon.
All right, so let me see you down the whole thing like you do with a shot. Come on.
Okay, great.
All right. Okay, thank you. You see how simple that was? Very, very simple. Agar, hot water, clove, allspice, fennel, and a little bit of vanilla. Well, let me show you what else you can do with agar, because agar is really, really versatile. So I decided, you know what? Sometimes you really like to make a nice little tart or a nice little puff that you would want to give as a sweet type of dessert for your guests. So I started thinking about the fact that I'm staying away from sugar, I'm staying away from processed foods. You're going to see me do more and more recipes where processed foods and sugars and flours are not in the ingredient. So I said, okay, what can I do? Because I like crust and I like a crumble. And everybody knows that a crust or a crumble, the basis is usually always some type of flour. What can we use? Well, I decided to use nuts. Even though nuts are good fat, they still are very fatty. And especially if you're like me, you can't have one nut, you need the whole bag of nuts. So I had to find a nut that could give me what I needed, but wasn't higher in the fat content as the others. Like cashews and macadamians, they're very high in fat content. So I started to think about it. And I said, what about pistachios? Do you know that pistachios have actually half of the fat content of almonds? I happen to love almonds, but 1 ounce of almonds was 28 grams of fat versus 1 ounce of pistachios were only 14. Come on, you can't beat that. So what I decided to do was take my pistachios and I ground them. I put a handful of pistachios in my food processor. You're going to grind it to the consistency of a meal, right? Like you would with a cornmeal, a very fine cornmeal. And you're going to use this as your basis for your custard or your tart or your pie. Just ground pistachios. Come on, you can't beat that. Isn't that just simple? Simple and easy. I'm going to show you what we did. I'm just looking for where I could put it. I have less things out here today. I'm going to take the rest of my pistachios and let me put them over here. All right, you know this is working what you got. We're not in the kitchen, so we do what we got to do. All right, we take our pistachios and at the base. And we're going to flatten it at the bottom of our bowl. These are salted pistachios. So we're actually going to make like a sweet and salty tart. You're going to pack it down. We ground up pistachios, take the back of the spoon, and pack it down. Now you could use a smaller bowl. Now remember, we have our agar. Here's our agar. You see how it's getting thick already? You can now take a spoon of your jelly. What I decided to use was a raspberry and pomegranate fruit spread. Low in sugar, and everybody knows how good berries are for you. I dumped it on top of there. And I put the remaining inside of the agar. Spoon it on top. And if you want, you could then take some of your whole pistachios and sprinkle on the top. You have your pistachio meal at the bottom. Whatever type of filling you want, we decided to use the raspberry and pomegranate filling, putting a little agar in it just to loosen it up some. But once you refrigerate it, it is going to get firmer. And then we kindly put our whole pistachios on top. All right, I need another taster. I don't have Paulie today. I don't have Jerry today. I guess I have to have Milani again. Come on. Where is she? Come on, Milani. Oh, Tom. Tom, do you eat nuts?
Oh,
Are you allergic to nuts?
I can have a little bit.
No, don't. Can you have pistachios?
What happens is, I don't know, it's like the Hulk. So maybe you should, they're saying I gotta go.
Okay, come closer.
Let me try this a little bit.
A little bit. Okay, do you like berries?
Yeah.
You do? All right, here we go. I'm going to feed you.
Oh, that's good.
You liked it?
Two things.
Go ahead.
A, it is delicious. And B, can you teach Vicky how to feed me?
Okay.
That's delicious.
You like it?
I do. Thank you.
It's simple,
All
right?
Goodbye.
I say you like it. You do.
It's absolutely delicious.
Okay, and so
In fact,
simple.
that's really good. I would love to have the recipe for this Thanksgiving.
All right, simple, and that's the owner. All right, and he likes it.
That's very good.
Simple. All we did was take the pistachios, ground it up fine, made it into a meal, took the raspberry and pomegranate spread, fruit spread. I try to stay away from preserves, stay away from jelly, added a little bit of agar to it, put a dollop on top of that meal. Now you have your filling, and then sprinkle whole pistachios on top. You have a sweet and salty berry tart. Calories down, fat down, sugar nil. You can't beat this. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. You have more than you think you have. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back with Cassandra Jackson, and she's going to unknot our mind and get our feet going.
My name is Dr. Robert Brevard. I'm here for Multi-Medicine in Westbury, New York. We're located at 1065 Old Country Road, Suite 214. Been here for about 15 years. The practice has medical doctors, physical therapists, chiropractors, acupuncturists. We also do pain management, and we have orthopedists on staff. Here at Advanced Multi-Medicine Rehabilitation, we've got physical therapists on staff who treat an array of conditions, from neck pain to back pain, shoulder pain. We treat carpal tunnel. We treat a lot of car accident patients, slip and falls. We treat patients with knee injuries, with ankle injuries. We have state-of-the-art equipment. We've been here for over 15 years. Vast array of diagnostic testing, from x-rays to EMGs. What is an EMG? It's a diagnostic test that allows a doctor to determine where the pinched nerve is. Cora is a physical therapist at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. She's working on Stephanie, who was involved recently in an automobile accident. Stephanie has tight thoracic and cervical musculature, and Cora is doing some myofascial release work and some therapeutic stretching, doing it to help her with her pain. Vicky is also a patient here at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. Vicky is now working her leg muscles, specifically her quadricep muscles, trying to strengthen them after an injury she sustained. If you find yourself in need of any type of physical therapy, please don't hesitate to call Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation, located in Westbury, New York, in Suite 214. Phone number is 516-334-7000, or find us on our website at advancedmultimedicine.com.
Technical Worldwide Tattoo Supply is one of the largest suppliers in the world and your number one resource for top quality, affordable tattoo and piercing supplies. Technical Worldwide Tattoo Supply is the number one supplier of tattoo inks in the world, with more than 200 products including Mom's Ink, Philadelphia Eddie's Traditional Inks, Paolini Sacred Color Inks, and more. Technical Worldwide Tattoo Supply, your one-stop shopping destination for great service, best prices, and top quality supplies. Coney Island Carlos vintage wines and premium spirits are undeniably distinctive, selected for their unique, memorable flavor. Coney Island Carlos vintage wines and premium spirits are delivered to you in beautifully designed bottles featuring limited edition artwork. Coney Island Carlos vintage wines and premium spirits are available at affordable prices in fine restaurants, bars, and liquor stores. Or check www.coneyislandcarlo.com for availability.
Yo, what's up, y'all? This is me, GMC, in the place to be, the greatest MC in history. There will never be an MC greater than me. And right about now, the only place for you to be is with your one and only Madhousetv.
You are the man.
My name is Dr. Robert Brevard. I'm here for Multi-Medicine in Westbury, New York. We're located at 1065 Old Country Road, Suite 214. Been here for about 15 years. The practice has medical doctors, physical therapists, chiropractors, acupuncturists. We also do pain management, and we have orthopedists on staff. Here at Advanced Multi-Medicine Rehabilitation, we've got physical therapists on staff who treat an array of conditions, from neck pain to back pain, shoulder pain. We treat carpal tunnel. We treat a lot of car accident patients, slip and falls. We treat patients with knee injuries, with ankle injuries. We have state-of-the-art equipment. We've been here for over 15 years. Vast array of diagnostic testing, from x-rays to EMGs. What is an EMG? It's a diagnostic test that allows a doctor to determine where the pinched nerve is. Cora is a physical therapist at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. She's working on Stephanie, who was involved recently in an automobile accident. Stephanie has tight thoracic and cervical musculature, and Cora is doing some myofascial release work and some therapeutic stretching, doing it to help her with her pain. Vicky is also a patient here at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. Vicky is now working her leg muscles, specifically her quadricep muscles, trying to strengthen them after an injury she sustained. If you find yourself in need of any type of physical therapy, please don't hesitate to call Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation, located in Westbury, New York, in Suite 214. Phone number is 516-334-7000, or find us on our website at advancedmultimedicine.com.
I am Tom Mealy for the Harrison Law Group, and I have been telling you for years that getting involved in an automobile accident is no joke. This is what we do. We're not new at this game. If you've been involved in an accident of any kind, and you go to a law firm that says you have no case, it's simple. It's because they can't do it and they don't get it. You need to call us directly at 1-800-INJURY-LAW.
Welcome to Formula Auto Wash, where every day is a great day for a car wash. Open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Sundays 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Detailing packages for every budget, starting out at $29.99. 100% hand wash and detail centre. Hog's hair and microfiber brushes and mitts. Proudly using Ecolab Blue Coral soaps and waxes. Formula Auto Wash has served the community for over 30 years. Senior discounts all day, every day. Ladies' Day Wednesday, $3 off any wash. Early bird discount Monday through Thursday till 9:30 a.m. Check out our website, formulaautowash.com.
Hi, we are back. I'm Renee Joshua Porter, and you have tuned in to Working with What You Got. Now, I invited my dear Cassandra Jackson to come on, because Cassandra just accomplished this major feat. It's major in my eyes, and I wanted her to help us out by telling us some of the knots she had to overcome in her own mind to accomplish finishing the New York City Marathon. Woo-hoo! Cassandra, thank you for coming.
You're so welcome.
Okay, now tell us, first of all, tell the audience who you are, what you do for a living, and how you got to where you are right now.
Okay, my name is Cassandra Jackson. I am currently employed with NYPD, and I've been there for going on 20 years. Okay.
She's a sergeant. She just left it out.
And I'm a mother of three, married mother of three, and that's basically,
So Cassandra's a normal,
I'm a
regular,
normal,
person.
yes.
She's a sergeant in NYPD. She's married. She has 3 kids. How did you end up in the New York City Marathon? Come on, bring us there.
Okay. I'm currently a member of a running group by the name of Black Girls Run. And Black Girls Run, it was developed to be, it was developed by Tony Carey and Ashley Hicks on the basis of getting African American to deal with the health consciousness of obesity among black women.
Hold on one moment.
Yes.
We're having a little technical difficulty with the sound, and we'll be right back.
Okay, thanks.
You know you already want a Toyota, but when you want more from your Toyota store, you want Smithtown Toyota, where every Toyota comes with Smithtown Toyota's Toyota for Life program, giving you lifetime New York State inspections, lifetime 10% discounts on all parts and service, 2 years of complimentary oil changes, 2 years of scheduled maintenance, and more, all at no cost to you, plus low clear-out deals on every Toyota in stock. Get more from your Toyota store. Hurry to Smithtown Toyota.
Hi, we're back. You know, this is live web TV, and I forgot to have my mic on after I took off my apron. So we had to regroup so I could get mic'd. I had to interrupt you, Cassandra. I'm so sorry. I don't know if you heard my introduction about my wonderful friend. She's a married mother of 3. She's a sergeant at NYPD for over 20 years, and she just finished a New York City marathon, and she was telling us how she got there. Tell us about Black Girls Run.
Okay. Black Girls Run is an organization that was put together to address the obesity and the health issues among African American women. Okay, and based upon that, they incorporating walking and running to help women conquer health issues, lose weight, become more active, and it's been a very positive organization among African American and including myself. Okay, so Black Girls Run has also developed a program in Long Island that's run by Ambassadors Sharon Hopkins and Tanja McLean, and 13 women, approximately 20 of us had all came together this June and decided to run the New York City Marathon. Mm-hmm. Now, the New York City Marathon, you can only gain access through lottery or through running 9 races with the New York Runners Club and also by volunteering. And we all, last year, was able to run 9 races at different lengths, and we also volunteered. So we gained access to running the New York City Marathon.
Okay, so what was that preparation? What was the preparation involved? Like, how much training did you do? How much alteration did you do with your diet? You know, what were some of those things?
Our training began in the middle of June of this year. We had a fitness instructor by the name of Diane Scope Sykes, who runs from the Fitness Detective organization, and she had planned out a schedule for us. So we was pretty much running 3 days a week. Okay. And it may have start for maybe 3 miles. We started with 3 miles a day, and we worked on up to 8 to 9 miles 3 days a week. So it was like maybe 3 miles twice a week, and then we had to do a long one, was maybe 6 miles. That was in the beginning. And towards the end of our training, we was up to running 8 miles for twice a week. And then our long one was probably about 20 miles.
Okay, so when you guys got together in June, you had already been running. So no one was really starting at that never ran before stage.
There was a couple, but no, pretty much we've all been running consistently for about a year.
About a year.
About a year or more. And it's different levels of running. So there's some beginners, some more advanced. But of the group, we all was able to finish the New York City Marathon.
Wow, everybody?
Everyone finished the New York City Marathon.
Oh, that is awesome.
All right, every single one of us. So, and that's a beautiful accomplishment. We've all been able to stick together as a group to remain focused, to be able to just stay steadfast and dedicated to.
So do you feel, I don't mean to cut you, Cassandra, but you got me so hyped up about this. So there's strength in numbers then?
There's strength in numbers. It's motivation. We motivated each other. And we all got together, you know, different groups to run together on particular days and to catch up and to push one another. And, you know, certain girls, you know, posted certain, You know, it could be a biblical scripture or a positive reading just to get us to stay focused on our goal. And together we was able to reach the goal.
So was there any time when you felt like, I can't do this, I don't want to be bothered?
Absolutely. But, you know, again, like you said, strength in numbers. And I believe everybody had that, that goal, and they wanted to obtain that, reach that goal by finishing.
So let me ask you, what were some of the things that was a knot in your mind?
Oh, that I probably wasn't capable of running 26 miles, 26.2 miles
Wow.
in one given day. But I don't know. For me, it's you know, it's me and my God. You know, you know the God. You know, when you ask God for something and you put forth the work, He's going to back you 100%. And that was my motivation. That's what kept me going. My spirituality, my relationship with God, and along with, you know, the other girls that were, other women that were running with me.
I like what you said. You said that you put forth the work.
Right, you have to put
You
forth
have
the
to
work.
put forth the
Right.
work. Because sometimes you could be, you know, like me, you could sit and watch and say, wow, that's great. I just imagine that there'll be this carpet that would pick me up and carry me 26.2 miles. But it doesn't exist. You have to put the work.
Yeah, and you know, running is fortunately and unfortunately, it is work, but it brings forth positive results. You know, because you have to incorporate in your running healthy eating, because you want to lose the weight. You also have to have some type of discipline. So, you know, it brings forth structure in your life. You know, and, you know, so you get up in the morning, you have to, and then, you know, Coach Diane always talked about being prepared. So you have to prepare your day before you get started. So if you get up in the morning or the day before and you set out your juices, like you're going to have your vegetables and everything you're going to put into your NutriBullet, then all you have to do is get up in the morning, prepare it, and you're ready. You're organized and you're out the door. There's no thinking about what you have to do because you've already prepared in advance. So with success comes great preparation. And with success, then you get the results.
Now, let me ask you, what about inclement weather? What about snow? What about rain?
Well, our training started in June, so our task was, or our difficulties was the summer heat.
The heat.
The heat. So what we did was, we was up early in the morning. We was out running maybe at 5 o'clock in the morning. Myself and one of the ambassadors, Tanja, we would go and we would meet up around 6:30 in the morning, and we would just run our miles before even daybreak. And so you either get it done early in the morning or late at night. And sometimes we would have runs, we would get together and we would run by the water. Okay, so we would start off in Cedar Beach, and we would start off in Massapequa and run all the way to Jones Beach. So we had different group runs that was organized through Fitness Detective, and we would just gather together and meet up at maybe 6, 7 o'clock in the morning and run 10 miles or 13 miles, or we would all gather at races because, you know, we all wanted to accomplish this goal. And by, you know, I think staying dedicated to it, we was able to do it.
I am so proud of you. I am. I'm so proud of you. Now, do we have Michelle on the line? Yes? Okay. Michelle, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, okay, excellent. Now we have Michelle Buchanan, who is also a runner. She wasn't able to come down to the studio, but she is here on our line. Michelle, say hello to our audience.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Good evening.
Now, I don't know, did you get a chance to hear Cassandra?
No, unfortunately, I wasn't able to hear anything that was being said earlier. I just was on a quiet silence, so I didn't really get anything in there.
Okay, well, Cassandra just finished the New York City Marathon. She's also a member of Black Girls Run, and she talked about just the camaraderie and how it helped them to achieve their goals. And that's, you know, she was talking about the regimen and preparation. And she was talking about preparing beforehand so that when the different obstacles come, whether it be hot weather, whether it be just not being motivated, you don't have to think about it because you're kind of on automatic pilot. Now, tell us a little bit about your background, Michelle, and how you embarked on fitness and running and so forth.
Well, you know, I've always sort of been a very physically active person, but and I've always desired to run. I should say that for many years, even when I was a teenager, I did sprinting because I'm not on I'm a bit on the short side, shall we say, and I did a lot of sprinting in school, but I really wasn't good at the long distance or cross country, as they call it. It was just not my thing because it was too long, too laborious. I would get tired, and I would always actually be last. But I used to watch the marathons, and I used to always say, I wish I could do that, but I wish it wasn't so far. And I watched athletics, and I said, I wish I could be an athletic runner, like not an Olympian exactly, but I wish I could do the athletic running, sprinting and all that. So I always loved the thought of exercise, and certainly running was an appealing thing. And I moved here a little over 20 years ago, and when I came, I started working out more than I used to when I was home, but I still didn't run. I've only been running for about, I want to say maybe 10 or 15 years. And then, I was leisurely running. And I thought of the marathon again and again and again, kept saying it's too much, too much. But, through the process of time and just doing like small races, I started with 5Ks, then 10Ks. And I stayed there for a number of years, 5K, 10K, until, I started to branch out and I did 15K and I did half marathons. And I eventually said, this is in my reach. I can do it. But it was certainly a journey I took, and I wasn't rushing it. I just took my time, and then the day came, and I knew the time came, and it was that time. And I was very much excited and ready to do the training and everything because I knew that I could do it. I knew the challenge. I was up for the challenge.
Now, let me ask you something. One of the things that you had mentioned before, Michelle, was that how you said you were going to do it when you were 30. You said you were going to do it when you were 35. You said you were going to do it.
Sure. Yes. It's about, I'm about 45 now, and it's like 15 years I promised myself that I was going to do it because, as I said, I've been running for about that time. And I remember in my late 20s when I first just kind of started really going out for jogs and like short runs, I said, I'd love to do a marathon one day, maybe when I'm 30 and I can, probably train for a couple of years, I thought. Then that came and went, and it just kept going up in increments of 5. And then I think when I got to 40, I didn't drop or give up. I just said, I'm not going to put a time on it. If I get to do it, I get to do it. But I've been promising it so long, so let me just leave it alone. And, I got to 45 and just, as things happened with the half marathons, when you do a half marathon, something changes and shifts as far as distance goes, because that's a big feat. And when I did that, which was in 2013, I suddenly just shifted into that gear of, I want to do this, I want to have a go at this. And I just happened to be 45 this year. So there it was, 15 years. But not that it should take you 15 years, but I'm saying it's never too early or too late to give yourself that goal, and it's never too far away.
So
you can always work towards it, and when you're ready, it's something you should just go for. You'll get that moment, and you should just go for it.
Now, Michelle, was this marathon, the New York City Marathon you did this year, was this your first time doing it?
First time doing a full marathon.
Wow.
Anywhere in the
Just
world
like
ever.
Cassandra. So both of you, both you and Cassandra, this was your first year doing it. Tell me that feeling when you crossed the line.
Well, I'm not going to lie to people and say like I was totally elated, which I'm sure that was in there somewhere. I was more like relieved. It was more relief because I have to be honest, it was a tough race. It was a tough run. The weather conditions were certainly challenging, unexpectedly so. And I wanted to finish. I felt like I owed it to not just myself, but so many other people who I knew were going to be inspired, and I didn't even know about this conversation, but certainly people around me that knew about it just were inspired, and I just wanted to make sure that this was a complete story, and I didn't say, because I saw people along the way on bridges and so forth who had whatever issues, and they had, emergency services and whatever attending, so I didn't want to be someone who couldn't complete, and I was just so relieved. When I crossed that line, it was pure relief. Pure relief. Before satisfaction and joy and all that, I just was relieved because I knew that it was done. And I sealed it by crossing, and I just said, thank you, God, I crossed. I finished it. I did it. If I never do it again, I did it.
Right.
I was excited, very excited to finish, I have to say.
Congratulations, Michelle. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So can you agree with that, Cassandra?
I agree with you 100%. Just to say that you finished, it is a big relief to finish 26.2 miles.
Yes.
Because that's what you're looking for. It looks like it's never ending.
What that means. And some people think training is just getting up and running, but it's so much more.
It's so
diet,
much
it's
more.
sleep, it's even your social life. You just have to leave places or not go to places because you have to be in bed to wake up to eat
Yes.
2 hours before you go for a long run.
Yes.
It's a whole system that you have
Yes.
to take on. Which I'm not saying that's right, people, just to know that if you're doing it, it's more than just that day.
Yes.
You know, so the relief is something that's been building because you get to that point and all of that training and all that time and commitment is now paid off because you get to cross that line.
So let me ask you something. I'll ask both of you. Tell me something that a person that is just starting out, they have never run before. They've just watched, they admire, they say they wish that they could. What is an initial step that they can work with what they got? Maybe they don't have money for a trainer. Maybe they can't join a gym. Maybe they feel really, really overweight. Maybe they have poor eating habits. You know, they have no structure, undisciplined. They're starting from point blank. You know, they're just starting from baby steps. Concisely, Michelle, tell me one quick point that how they can start, and then I'll ask you too, Cassandra.
Right. Now, I'd have to check this reference because I do believe it's the correct one, but I would say check it. But Leslie Sansone, she does this tape. I would say start with something indoors. Start with a DVD, a tape. She does this walk thing where you can walk 3 miles. And because the weather is poorly, unless you have a partner, you can go out and walk. I would suggest going out and walking. But if you're alone and you know you need somebody, then I'd start walking in the house. Because running is the way to start. It's not to just go out and start running at any point. You know, it's the walking thing, then it turns into a walk-run, like walk for a few minutes, run for a few minutes, which is a build-up. So if you start with the walking, I assure you, the more that you become efficient at that, your body will naturally want to do more, especially if in the back of your mind it's running that you're aiming for. You're not aiming to just be a walker, you're aiming to be a runner. So you start with just doing that, picking up your pace, getting your speed up, and being able to really do that efficiently. I think she has a walk tape that's about 3 miles. You can do that in your own living room.
Okay.
So if you can start there and just do some walking, even get a partner and walk outside, and eventually, you know, when the weather picks up, or if you can run in the cold, then I would suggest the run walk to start. And there are programs online that you can say beginner runners, and they'll give you something you can follow that's very, very, very doable for anyone,
Cassandra?
any level.
Right now, there's a program with Black Girls Run that's called Walk Before You Run. And it's a beginner's training program that starts slowly with the beginners and slowly works them up to be able to run 3 miles. Okay, and it's also a walk-run program. And I know Jeff Calloway, he's famous for the walk-run program. And he also has the books and CDs, and you go on his website, his Facebook page, that pretty much helps everybody start out slowly. And you know what? It's walking and running is you take step by step by step, and you build yourself up because you don't want any injuries. Okay,
no, exactly.
So to prevent an injury, you do everything in moderation. Okay, and you start with maybe a 5-minute walk. Okay, a 1-minute run, 5-minute walk, a 1-minute run, and then you just alternate it back and forth until your body, like Michelle says, becomes accustomed to it because you want to remain healthy without injuries. Okay, and that's what's important.
That's very, very good. Now let me ask you this. One of the things that we've seen, because we know, especially as African American women, that we're the leaders in obesity, hypertension, diabetes, a lot of poor eating habits. And a lot of times you'll hear women say, you know, I would work out, I would go and exercise, but my hair, I don't know what to do about my hair. How did you handle that issue? Was that ever an issue for you, Cassandra?
It's always an issue. It's still an issue. It's still an issue. You know, I just moisturize, I put on my cap, and I go. You know, I tend to purchase a cap that has some type of ventilation in it so that it's not wet. You know, the air can get to it and it can circulate. But for me, I think at any cause with the natural hair, you're always going to have some type of issue. So you're either going to have to, you know, moisturize it, braid it. And everyone, you know, even people who have, you know, perms, they still run and work out with the perm. So I think it's I think everyone does something differently.
Because you know what, in all honesty, it can be a block.
Yes.
Sometimes, you're so busy thinking about your hair, you don't end up doing what you need to do. They're telling us we have to do a commercial. We have to do a commercial. Okay, hold on. We'll be right back.
Okay. I was going to say, there's so many products out there now.
Vicky's like, we have to do a commercial.
Michelle?
Yes, I'm here. Hello, Cassandra. How are you?
How are you?
Hi, my name is Dr. Tom Dow. We have a multidisciplinary practice in Melville and Ronkonkoma, New York, and we treat patients with many, many different conditions, from newborns through geriatric patients with numerous different techniques. There's a technique and a type of treatment for every class of patient. We have them all here. Here's my son Thomas, also a doctor of chiropractic, working on one of our patients' cervical spine. This patient has had chronic neck pain for many, many, many years, has been to a multitude of different practitioners with little or no response. And with our specialized techniques, she has improved tremendously and continues to improve on a daily basis. We have two practices, one in Melville and one in Ronkonkoma, New York. We are a multidiscipline chiropractic office. What that means is we have chiropractors, massage therapists, acupuncturists, psychologists, all working as a team and a network of outside professionals such as orthopedists and neurologists that we work hand in hand with to help determine what your injuries are and the best way to treat your injuries. I have the great pleasure of having my son in practice with me. We work hand in hand, father and son, to give our patients the best care possible, and a staff which is loving, caring, and you'll never have to wait at all in our office for service. Many times patients come into our office and they have what's called a soft tissue injury. Soft tissue injuries are like scars inside your body. If you've ever been cut on the outside of your body, you get a scar. The same thing happens inside of your body to your muscles and ligaments. So our job is to determine where those are, stretch the muscles, adjust the vertebra back into their correct position, and then refortify the normal structure with exercise. That's what we do best, and I hope someday you'll come see us at one of our two offices. Thank you.
Hi, we're back. I'm your host, Renee Joshua Porter. I'm here with my dear friend, Cassandra Jackson, and another wonderful lady on the line, Michelle Buchanan. They just completed their first New York City marathon. They were sharing some wonderful tips. And right before our break, Michelle was bringing about a very important comment about a lot of times with African-American women and the excuse that we use about the hair dilemma when it comes to working out. Michelle, why don't you real quickly tell them what your point you wanted to make?
Yes, I was just saying there was an article I read a number of years ago, and the headline was, "Is your hair making you fat?" And I mean, it could be that if you're not working out because you're worried about your hair, then you need to just go online and do some research about really maintaining it in a way that would, be okay for you to exercise, because paramount is your health, number one, and that's something that you really want to consider before you worry too much about the hair. If you can actually help it, you can actually do things to keep your hair up and exercise.
That's right. So you have to make make it a priority. That's the bottom
Yes.
line.
Yes.
If
Yes.
it's a
Number one, it
if it's
should
a
be. It really
priority,
should be. You'll change your life,
Yes.
and your hair will be secondary,
Yes.
and it'll be fine. Your hair will be fine. Trust me, it won't fall out. It will just. You just have to care for it slightly differently, but it will be worth it. It really will.
Yes, and there's many products out now
Many,
that many
many,
products
many
that will
things,
address
yeah.
every
Yeah.
issue with your hair.
now show us the medal.
Okay.
Show us the medal.
Okay, here is our 2014 New York City Marathon.
Woo! I hope I get one
I
as
could
my
have
day.
been there. I would have won mine as well, so I'm sorry I didn't make it this time, Renee.
Oh, thank you so much.
So congratulations to all the BGR girls on Long Island that finished, and congratulations to you, Michelle.
Oh, wow.
Thank you very much for having me, Renee. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now we're going to shoot over to Milani, and she's back with her rant.
Hi, and welcome to Working with What You Got, where I rant about different subjects that concern me. Okay, well, today is more of a reflection than a rant. Recently, I was part of a discussion where I heard a group of women discussing how disappointed they were when they found out they were pregnant with daughters and not sons. And this group consisted of different ages, races, and ethnicities, and it was pretty clear that sons were the preferred gender. Now, although I heard no logical explanations as to why sons are better than daughters, I tried my hardest to refrain from judgment. It's one thing to be oppressed, dismissed, and overlooked by men in a patriarchal world, but when you have women who share those same narrow views, it's a kind of scary. Why is it that we love our sons but raise our daughters? Why is it that we teach young girls how not to be raped or how not to look like a slut instead of teaching guys to keep their hands to themselves? I just don't get it. And to be honest, I've heard both men and women express that they are afraid to have daughters because society is sometimes very cruel to women. And that is a pretty reasonable concern. But I just don't understand why the responsibility to be a decent, respectful human being tends to fall on the women and not on the men. Are the expectations for our sons so low that we just dismiss any of their behavior? Oh, that's just boys being boys. And that just really doesn't make any sense to me. After listening to these women, I couldn't help but wonder what their sons would be like 10 to 20 years from now. Do they have any strong, positive males in their life who will encourage them to be leaders, who will encourage them to be leaders of their own families, and to also sustain healthy, loving relationships with women? It seems to me that boys are allowed to stay boys forever. Meanwhile, girls are taught to be responsible, mature, selfless, compassionate women. And it just doesn't seem fair. Now, I know what you're thinking, and no, I am not some sort of raving, fanatical feminist. I love and appreciate men very much, especially those who raised me. But it would be remiss of me not to notice the inequalities that exist. Sometimes boys are seen as a joy, girls are seen as a burden. Boys are considered fun, girls are difficult. And it really just doesn't make much sense to me. Fortunately, I have parents that treat both their sons and their daughters equally. But I couldn't help but wonder if maybe the rise of single-parent households have distorted the way we raise the different genders. But that's a different rant for a different day. Thank you for listening. Bye.
There was a lot on her mind, huh? Well, before we go, I always like to end it with a story. And I was thinking about something. I was in the car the other day, and Milani said to me, she said, Julian, did you tell Mommy what that coach said about Elliot? And of course, Julian brushed it off. And I know Milani well enough that when she said that in front of me was because she wanted me to know what the coach said to Elliot. So what happened was Julian is 17 and Elliot is 12. And they're both very athletic. And it just so happens that one of the coaches that's also at Elliot's middle school is also a coach at Julian's high school. So he came over to Julian in the high school and he said, "Are you Elliot Porter's brother?" And Julian said, "Yes, I am." And the coach went on to say, because Elliot has been trying out for one of the basketball teams, he said, "He's good, but he's not as good as he thinks he is." Now, I was driving and I stopped and I said, I have a problem with that statement. Now, both Julian and Elliot was like, "Oh, come on, Mommy, you make a big deal out of nothing." I said, no, I have a problem with that statement. Nobody that's ever been great has been content with being mediocre. You have to believe that you can do a marathon. You have to believe that you are great. Even if your capabilities are not where your mind is at, your mind will take you further than your capabilities. And when I said that to them, they got really bothered. And I started to think about this thing I saw. I saw an interview on Facebook where this interviewer, reporter, was talking to Serena Williams, and she was about 15 years old. And he was asking her how she was going to do in her contest. And she says, I'm confident I'm going to win. And he kept asking her in different ways about, oh, you sure you're going to win? Why you sound so confident you're going to win? And at there's some point during the interview, Serena's dad got up and stopped the interview. And he went over into the face of the reporter and said, if she said she's going to win, she's going to win. And don't try distracting her or detracting her from it. And guess what? Is she now the best in her field? Absolutely. So what happens if we start telling our young people, you are great, you can do it. Yes, you believe that you're great. Now, I made sure I told Elliot, you're not talking down to anybody, are you? You're not bragging, you're not boasting, you're not being conceited, you're not trying to boast yourself or flaunt yourself greater. He says, no, you know I'm not like that. I said, well, then let me tell you something. I don't care who it comes from. You are as great as you think you are. And you don't let anybody, no matter who it is, not even us, tell you differently. Free your mind, and the rest will follow. Thank you for tuning in. See you next week.